Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey with investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. Today's video we're going to be looking at what has gone wrong with metamaterials, and we're also going to be doing a follow-up to the previous video where we looked at the 10K issued by Next Bridge Hydrocarbons, and following on with some questions about the 10K. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, we can see a headline here from Reuters in terms of the market ahead of this week. Investors are counting on earnings to calm the $900 billion US tech rout. So the markets did take a significant hit, and from Baha News, we can also see that the US closed lower due to the IT blackout, especially with regard to Microsoft and CrowdStrike. In terms of positive news from crypto, Bitcoin did jump over 4% and it is currently in a bullish phase, so good news there. So let's have a quick look at earnings. So this is, I think, is the start of a huge week for earnings and a huge period for earnings, and a number of stocks that we are going to be looking at include Spotify, we're going to be looking at Tesla, Google, amongst a number of others. So a huge week here for earnings. And one more other post I'd like to share with you here from bar chart is with regard to CrowdStrike, and what we can see here is that the CrowdStrike's chief security officer sold 1.485 million worth of shares of CrowdStrike on Monday. He got a price of $371 per share, and after the news that we had, we did see it go below $300. So congratulations here to Sean Henry for a very successful trade. So before we look at metamaterials, I'm going to do a follow-up to the previous video where we looked at the 10K released by Next Bridge Hydrocarbons, and the first comment here is from the MMTLP holder who wants justice, like many of us, and he stated here, it doesn't matter what happens to the company, FINRA and the SEC are still responsible for the U3 hole, and I would say in particular FINRA, and he's looking for a fair price of around about $2,500 per share, which I think is not disagreeable. And what Corey Smith has stated is just sell the land like they were supposed to in the first place and give us our money, and I think hopefully the company are trying to do that. What Hansel has stated, how about the SEC opens up trading as promised, or you can represent me in court for all I am defaulting on. So with regard to the trading, that is certainly a loss that we have all incurred, and that is something that we were denied. And finally from Casey, he stated in terms of Greg McCabe, he stated in the PR, in light of events surrounding our former accounting firm, it was determined to re-audit the 2022 financial statements, and while this has regrettably delayed the filings, he believes it is in the best interest of the shareholders to ensure that we move forward, grow and stand on solid ground. So positive words there from Greg. And he also states here, we are diligently working to completing the remaining filings, which will be forthcoming shortly. So I do look forward to seeing this. And he states also the process is part of the ongoing efforts to re-envision and expand the company. So again, great news and great words here from Greg McCabe. Let's now have a look at metamaterials. I'm going to start with a post from George, and he states here, in his opinion, what is wrong with the picture in terms of the company is not sharing information that is very material, and the assets residing at the global headquarters, which was obviously a state-of-the-art facility worth over $20 million in replacement value for the building and capabilities alone. And right now he's stating we are in possession of a landlord and other related creditors. The building was designed to develop and handle research and development as well as production for multiple product lines. And I think we do all remember that building, and it did look to have huge promise and potential. In terms of the building, he's basically saying it's been put on the market for sublease. Again, very concerning, and this has been for a number of months. He states here, I think quite obviously naturally to say that they need to tell us what happened, and I think that is clear because all shareholders are the owners of the company. Have they lost not only the building, but have they also lost the AR Fusion and the holography? In his opinion, he's obviously stated here he's personally connected to the metamaterials team, and he's looking to discuss potential partnerships and strategic solutions for the business even now. And this I think is a very important and huge comment from George, and he states here he personally knows that there were at least 2 or 3 other large corporations interested. So why is this not being explored, and why are the company not responding to this? So 3 questions. If there is no headquarters, where do shareholders go to in terms of communications? What happens to the 3 subsidiaries? These include the NanoWeb area of MMI. We also include the London office, which was looking at the medical business side of the assets, and also Halifax, which was also one of the key areas. And finally, he states here, are all of those basically now counting as immaterial subsidiaries? So very concerning and strong words there from George. So let's have a look at some reactions and further questions. What Thermo also stated is there was a lot of great technology in Meta. It is very sad to see that post George there has not been any interest whatsoever to develop. So if the board were saying we need to improve the business by getting rid of George, well, it looks like the complete opposite has happened. And what George has stated is obviously there hasn't been any interest since they didn't care to understand the tech, and only George understands the tech. And he goes on to say they don't even know how many patents are left, and they've also lied about the IP count, and I think there are issues with the website. So let's have a look at another post from George in terms of the website, and he states here, is this the birthday present to us from Metamaterials, and did you put an accountant to update the website? And he's called out in terms of management to delete it. Is there anybody there around? So I have checked the website, it is offline. And a comment here is saying, if someone stole my company and hijacked my efforts to change my family's financial future, I would fight back. So it certainly looks like that's what George is doing. So shout out here to some guy who stated Metamaterials let their domain name expire, but for $1 million it can be yours. I'm not sure if this is true, because I think the actual domain is metamaterial.com. So if anybody can confirm, maybe even George, that metamaterials.com was owned by the company and they did let that expire, then that would certainly also be an example of significant negligence by the company. And what Meta News have stated, again tagging in StockCube, is what is going on with the Metamaterials. We know in the previous video we looked at the sale of assets of a number of important areas of the business. So let's have an update. So George has now provided an update in terms of page 2 of his demand letter. So this is page 2 of page 5, and he's basically giving an example here of, imagine selling Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen franchise. However, before you sell it, you sack Gordon Ramsay first, and then you try to sell the business. So certainly the analogy here is comparing him to obviously sacking George and getting rid of him, and then now trying to sell Metamaterials. So he's basically saying what you're actually selling to the new buyer is a bunch of old recipes and some cookware. So I think it's a strong analogy. So in his letter here, which was sent by his lawyers, the highlighted area, section B, is also talking here about in the letter is omissions of directors and officers' insurance status. Again, some of that is blacked out due to confidentiality reasons, I'm assuming. And then he's stating here in terms of one of the allegations, there was misleading information in the June 11, 2024 8K filing. So I think the company, or should we say Uzi, has to respond to this. And section D, materially misleading revenue and growth projections and company status omissions. And what it also states at the bottom, Mr. Paracasa has also discovered inconsistencies which are blacked out. And what Rare DD has stated here, before we look at that post from Rare DD, I'm going to share with you what George has also gone on to state. Tagging in Mr. Uzi, he states here, Mr. Uzi, or hey Uzi Jack, how about a trade? Make me the chairman and the CEO. Just for 24 hours, he will recapitalize the company without selling any assets, get the website up and running. And if you can't If he doesn't do that, he can take the shares for free. So remember, George is the biggest shareholder. He's given them a proposed date, August 1st. Let's see if the company respond, because the promise George is making is certainly in the interest of the company, and he's looking for the loyalty of the investors, chairman and CEO, see if they can help to do the same. But basically the website is down, and it looks like things are not positive. George goes on to say, I will be there as a backup of the website. There should be a backup of the website somewhere. I'm sure there should be. We certainly had that during his time, so the company cannot state that is. In my opinion, I think that one of the reasons why the website is down is because they have got rid of so many staff on there, and so many departments, got rid of so many patents, let them expire, and sold off a lot of the assets that the website probably needs a complete redesign. And let's now have a look at the response from Rare DD, who stated, tagging in their CC, that George Palikos can say he can recapitalize the company in 24 hours without selling any assets if he was made the chairman and the CEO, and if he can't, he'll say he will give up the shares. So that is something that needs to happen, really, if it is for the interest of the company. And finally, I'm going to give a shout out to the Discord, where on Friday we called that tick symbol SERV. So congratulations to everybody who got in on that. It was a difficult week in the market, but we had a great day with SRV, up in excess of 200% at one point on the Friday. And if you would like to get a copy of our weekly watch list, which will be shared prior to trading on the Monday, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.